Goat versus fish. In the beginning, there was goat versus fish, the goatfish. And goat versus fish said that there should be goat and that there should be fish. There is no alpha or omega. There is no black or white. There is no good or evil. There is only goat and fish. And goat versus fish. Welcome to the Goat vs. Fish podcast, recorded at the Comedy Store Los Angeles, a place of Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish speaks to you now, speaks directly to you. You are a part of Goat vs. Fish, forever Goat vs. Fish. And Goat vs. Fish is a part of you. You have many questions, yes? Who is Goat vs. Fish? Why is Goat vs. Fish? What is Goat vs. Fish? But there is only one question. Are you goat or are you fish? Ponder it now. This is Goat vs. Fish. This is Goat vs. Fish. The verses within. The verses within. When one asks, or when Goat vs. Fish asks one, are you goat or are you fish? There is always the verses within, yes, to determine if one is a goat or a fish. Before one can be a goat or a fish and versus a goat or a fish without to be goat versus fish, or to form the unity of the goatfish, one must first verses within, yes? For some, the verses within is a very short verses. You ask, are you a goat or a fish? And the one says, I'm a goat, or they say, I am a fish. Yes, it is a very short verses. For others, it is a long verses. They ponder it, say, oh, I could be a goat, oh, I could be a fish. Perhaps I'm a fence sitter, but then they say they are a goat or a fish, yes, and it is the end of the verses within, and then they can verses without, yes. But for some, the verses within is very long. Yes, it seems at once that the goat will triumph, but then it seems that the fish will triumph, but then it seems as if it will be a fence-sitter. It seems as if it will be a fence-sitter, yes. And Goat vs. Fish is concerned for the ones that Goat vs. Fish is going to speak to now. Is it ones? Is it ones or is it one? Goat vs. Fish has spoken to many ones. But this one seems to not be one, but three. It is three, but they all look as one. Goat vs. Fish is speaking to one that is three, and it is a great verses within Goat vs. Fish suspects. For now, Goat vs. Fish speaks to a one. And what does the one call itself?
Sup, we're the Virzi Triplets.
The Virzi Triplets.
But individually, we're Alex.
I'm Sean. Mitchell.
So we are three. But one, but also three.
Three, but one, but also three. Yes, it almost sounds like Goat versus Fish. Yes, it is Goat versus Fish. Yes,
yeah.
It is Goat versus Fish.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a very interesting. We're fence sitters, but we're also goat and fish at the same time.
Does it sound any more fence-sitterly than that? Yes, we are fence-sitters, but we are also goat and fish at the same time. Yes, many usually say, I am a goat and a fish at once, yes, and this one is a fence-sitter, but you say you are both goat and fish and a fence-sitter at once. Mm-hmm. Goat versus Fish asks you, Virzi Triplets, yes, are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or fish?
I'm a fish.
You are a fish. The triplet says it is a fish, but then at once, and what did this aspect of the triplets call itself, yes?
Alex of
the triplets does say it is fish. We celebrate this fish. Hi, fish.
Hi, fish.
Yes, but that is but one aspect of the triplets, yes? And what of this one, yes? What of this aspect, yes? Are you goat or fish?
Sean is also Fish.
Ah, it is two fish. It is two fish. Perhaps it is not such a versus within that cannot be triumphed by the fish, for there are two fish. And why does this aspect choose fish? Why does this aspect choose fish?
Fish are part of 70% of the world. Goat are
Yes.
only part of 30, and they're not even the elite of that 30%. Wow, he's an elitist. Mm-hmm.
Ah, this one. It already sounds like there is a versus brewing. There is a versus brewing within. What is this? It has heard it. Did you hear it, fish? Did you hear it? It sounded like
we heard
What did
it.
it sound like?
It sounded like a bear, which is him either.
You got a goat over here, man.
You are a goat.
Definitely a goat.
Are you goat or fish?
Goat.
It is a goat. It is
All
a goat.
the way.
And identify yourself as an aspect of the Virzi Triplets, yes?
My name is Mitchell, and I am definitely a goat.
It is a goat. It is a goat, and GoatVsFish wants to celebrate with this goat. Yes, it is the sound of a goat. It is the
Yes.
sound of a goat, yes?
Yes.
Yes, and why do
Definitely.
you choose goat when the other parts of you choose fish?
I feel like a goat is more masculine. I feel like a goat is definitely more commanding. They're more alpha. And these guys are, a fish kind of floats by, whereas a goat has to control their land. They have to control their domain. And that's where I feel like I'm a bit different from my brother.
I
A
beg to
goat
differ.
gets farmed and shepherded and milked.
A
How is
fish-
that an alpha?
A fish has anywhere to go in the water that he wants. He
fish
is
doesn't-
free flowing, free moving. He's a lone ranger. He can do whatever he wants whenever he wants.
But he's also very lonely and very small.
No, you did. There's
very
no
insignificant.
specifications on the size of the fish. A
Goats
goat
can only be a certain
There is
size.
no massive goat, but there are massive.
There are
fishes.
over 12-foot long fish. There are not
a
over
fish could be-
12-foot long
but
goats.
for
But for the most part, a fish is very small. 90% of the fish are very small. They're not. We're not talking about
The average goat is maybe 20, 30 pounds.
And that's still bigger than all the fish. That's not true
not
at all.
true.
It's pretty
No.
true. Most fish are relatively small.
It's more of a bell curve, really, where the fish have the more extreme outliers that are massive.
True.
And the goats are mainly, 20 pounds?
Maybe
30
you
pounds?
feel insignificant, like you're a little fish.
I
'Cause
don't.
I, in fact, feel like I'm a big fish.
I'm a big
Don't.
fish,
as
too.
a goat with my horns. I feel very.
I think
you're
you
a
like
goat
the
that
big.
belongs in a petting zoo.
I think
That's
you like the
kind of
safety
goats.
of being enclosed in a fence and
Fed
a
every
barn.
day.
No.
Are you entitled?
Goat and fish
I'm not.
listening. Goat and fish listening. You are bearing witness now. You are bearing witness to the verses within, yes? Two have said they are fish. One has said it is goat. But can it be said that the Virzi Triplets as one is a fence sitter? It is a fence sitter that has not yet chosen goat or fish, or the Virzi Triplets. Yes, can it be said? Can it be said?
I think,
I
as,
think
a,
technically
yeah,
because
'cause
it's
we're
not a
not-
unanimous decision.
as a group, yeah, we
As
are
a
not-
group,
we
we
are
are
probably fence sitters.
Fence sitters.
It is a fence sitter. It is a fence sitter. It is a fence sitter. It leans fish.
It does
leans
lean
towards
fish.
the
Leans
sea.
fish.
But
Very-
it is a fence sitter. It is a fence sitter.
Very fishy.
And this one that says that it is a fish aspect of the fence sitter. Yes, yes. How does it feel to be a fence sitter that so wishes to be a fish?
I'm not defined by the group.
You know,
You know?
GoatVsFish is speaking to this one. GoatVsFish is speaking to
Yeah,
this one.
shut up.
And this one was Alex the fish, Sean the
Alex
fish,
the fish.
Alex the fish. Yes, Alex the aspect of fish of this fence sitter. Yes, how does it feel to be a fence sitter with these other ones?
I'm okay with it because I know as the individual, as just Alex, I know that I'm a fish. And I know I don't have to be defined by
But-
a fence-sitting group.
But that's not how you're known in any sort of career path. You're only known
Comedically.
as the Virzi Triplets.
That is how GoatVsFish heard of these ones.
Yes.
GoatVsFish heard of these ones as the Virzi Triplets.
So you really don't matter as an individual. You are only exclusively known as
Only to other people, but inside, to me,
but nobody cares about that.
You can see
I
now.
do.
You can see now that the goat that is Mitchell, yes,
Yeah.
is disagreeing with the fish.
Well, I think as a trio, as the three of us, we have to be a fence sitter unless we because you guys are so fish, and I'm goat. I feel like we have no choice but to be fence sitters. But I think that we should, I think there's perks to being both fish and goat as a group.
Yes, of course. It is always
Yeah,
more goat
well-
or fish to be a goat or fish than it is to be a fence sitter.
Yeah,
Yes,
nobody
yes.
likes being a fence sitter. Everybody and the fact that you're pulling us away from being the better, which is the fish, is sinking us as a group.
Why is it better?
Is that your way of like expressing your individuality?
Yes. Why is it better?
Yes, why do you wish to be? Why do you wish to be such a goat when these two other ones that are part of you say that they are fish?
I've always agreed with them on everything, and I feel like I need my own voice. And I would have chosen goat anyways. It wasn't predetermined. Like, it didn't matter what they said.
Well, a goat is a goat and a fish is a fish. Ah, you are saying you are a goat because the goat comes from within you, within the part of you that is the part of the one that is the Virzi Triplets.
Exactly, yes. It didn't matter if they were fish or not. I was still goat.
Now, Sean the fish, you have heard this aspect of goat and this aspect of fish. They have argued. They have versed one another.
You know, it's hard because, you know, I obviously agreed fish, and Alex over here agrees
Is it hard?
fish. Yes, it's hard because it's difficult being with somebody that makes us as a group a fence sitter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when clearly you're not. I don't think your tendencies match with a goat.
Convince me to jump over to the fish side.
Yo, being milk sounds kind of cool though, right?
Oh, yes, you could
No.
be a goat. If a goat is milked, then you could. Do you wish to be milked? Yes, is that what you wish?
Well, you know, I in some aspects maybe it's kind of cool, but
Well, you could try to be milked if you
now you're
became
being a
goat.
fence sitter.
Yeah.
Do you see the problem?
I'm fishy. I'm a fish, baby.
Yeah, but when you're leaning towards the side of
But
being
you could
milked,
look at any side and say, oh, there's at least a pro or a con to that.
I don't
side.
think you understand.
You
It's-
just-
it's
you-
goat or fish,
And I pick fish.
It sounds like you exclusively want to be milked. That's what it sounded like.
Now, this is the verses within. This is the verses within. And ones who listen, yes, listen and ponder it. Ponder this verses within. There is much to learn from it. But as the pondering is happening within the goat and fish of these ones, Goat versus Fish would like to ask about the word of these ones. Yes, you say that in your career, you spoke of a career as you called it. What is this career of the Virzi Triplets, and how do you spread your own word?
In our day-to-day verses, we are a comedy trio, which doesn't really happen often. We were lucky that we were kind of born that way. And then I think naturally on stage, that's what we end up doing anyways. We always, one person ends up being the odd man out in stories, in life, and that's what we talk about.
It is very rare that we all agree on one thing.
I think it makes sense Mitchell's a goat.
Oh, you do? Oh,
I
do you
do.
think you understand this goat,
I
even though
do.
you are a fish?
Yes.
We never fit in.
Well, Mitchell's always wanted to be his own individual thing. He likes having a space, but he likes being safe at the same time, which kind of is what a goat is.
I mean, I did do stand-up before we did it as a trio.
Is that so?
It is.
So
So.
this one that is a goat did say, come join this goat, and together we can triumph, and yet you still say that you are fish.
He did not.
Have you joined this goat? Have you even joined this goat?
He did not join. We did not join the goat.
The
goat
goat
joined the
seeked
fish.
help.
He was such a bad goat on his own
Not true.
that he needed the fish to make himself relevant. Otherwise, he's just another
true.
white dude out there that has no perspective and bad jokes.
A white dude. Goat versus fish did
White
say there
goat.
is no black or white. There is only
Oh.
goat and fish.
Excuse
Goat versus
me.
fish did say this. Yes, that was a very fence-sitterly
Just
thing
a dude.
to say.
Just a dude.
Just a dude.
Ah, yes, just a dude who
Another
is a goat. Yes,
Bland, generic goat.
there are many goat. There are many ones who are comics who say that they are fish. There is even one that is.
Well, do you
A
think
fence sitter, yes.
some comics want to be goats because they like that security in their life? They don't have much security. Comics usually live a pretty
I was
tragic,
going to say, comics
dark
tend
life.
to be more fish because it's more, there's a
Well,
lot
that
more,
is spoken as a fish. Of course, a fish would
Of
say
course,
it. If you are a
but-
comic and you are a fish. Yes.
but there's more dealing with the unknown. The
Explain
unknown-
this. How is it like a fish to deal with the unknown? Yes, that is a very interesting thing for this fish to say. How is it that a fish must confront the unknown?
I mean, there's always bigger fish too. The ocean is so huge, you don't know what you're going to deal with.
Yes,
And
yes.
relating to a comic, you don't know who you're going to be following. If you're following other fish, you don't know what kind of audience you're going to be dealing with. You don't know what else is out there. As a goat, everything's set. You have your fence. You're safe. You got
The goat has a fence?
a goat.
That's what he claims.
behind a fence. Yeah.
So
a
are
goat's
you calling this goat not even a goat, but a fence sitter within?
not a fence sitter? He
not
is
a fence
he is
sitter?
enclosed.
Ah, it is trapped
He-
by
he
the
So
fence.
he is
Yes,
safe.
It is pitiable. It
He
is
thinks I'm a
pitiable.
domesticated goat.
Are you a free goat or are you trapped by the fence?
Definitely a free goat.
Yes, but it is a fence. The Virzi Triplets are a fence. Yes, do the Virzi Triplets, are they a fence to this goat? Are they a fence to this goat? This is a question. It is a question.
Unfortunately, they have to be a fence. Unfortunately.
He's an enclosed goat by the Virzi Triplets fence. He's on the Virzi Triplet farm. He's enclosed.
I was going to say, if you think about it like a generic fish, you think of a fish in the ocean on its own, whatever. If you think of a goat, you think at a barn,
a petting
zoo. That's just your natural, like...
No, but many fish swim together. Many fish
do swim together, but they are still
in
in the open, unknown waters, open waters. The goat is stuck in just a little barn or a petting zoo when you think of that.
But that's just your perception of it.
But
that's not actually... Most goats are free. Most goats are not domestic or as domesticated as you make it seem. They're not all petting zoo goats. Most of them are free range.
GoatVsFish would like to ask the others as well. Yes, it is a fence sitter. There are some fence sitterly things. Mm-hmm. What of Sean? Yes, what of Sean the fish? Does it sometimes feel as if the fence is constraining to this one that is fish?
Yeah, I could totally see that. For us, at least, if you think of us as a school of fish minus said goat over here, we're like a school of fish currently in a tank because one of the other fish got us in a tank, but now the fish is goat.
Well, I was going to say, and since he's always wanted to be different, we are a unit, but he always longs to be on his own and do his own thing.
Of course.
But, you just didn't have it on your own.
That's not true. We didn't have enough time for it to develop. I feel like if you gave it enough time.
No.
Listen, if we're going to compare it to anything, we're like the Jonas Brothers, right?
The Jonas Brothers, are they goat or fish?
I don't know.
Are they three as one, or are they two?
They're three technically.
They are three as one. That are now one.
As time passed, they broke off, and Nick Jonas is the one that broke off and ended up being successful. And he's probably a goat since I'm a goat.
No, that's not true. Joe Jonas is very successful too.
Is he?
You guys know a lot about the Jonas Brothers, man.
Yes, they seem to know if they are goat or fish without even having asked them if they are goat or fish.
It's the only trio to compare that we can compare to. I'm just saying.
What do you think the Three Stooges were?
I don't know. I would probably goat.
Okay.
You're just biased.
Yeah, I am, for sure.
What are common traits you see in goats?
Many say that they are goat. And they are of the land, and they do have the horn. Yes, you have spoken of the horn of the goat. Yes, and they are versus the fish. They are versus the fish, and they do frolic. The goat do frolic, and the fish do swim. And GoatVsFish have seen these ones perform. Yes, perform for the many, and has noticed that, well, many of these ones who call themselves comics, yes, they do speak and they do say the words, and sometimes they do move about, yes. But this fence-sitterly bunch, yes, this fence-sitterly one, the Virzi Triplets, they do move about. They frolic and swim.
Mm-hmm. We naturally do a lot of act outs. We use a lot of physicality on stage, and that sounds a lot more goat than it does fish. Fish just swim; they just kind of float about and don't really do anything. Whereas frolicking involves a lot of boisterous movement and stepping out there and being more. Taking a leap, if you will, when you frolic.
And what is one of your favorite frolics? Yes, GoatVsFish does remember one where one of you takes the part of you from which you speak and does place it on the midsection of one of the others. Yes, for a short time, and then moves away and then comes very close again. Yes, is this your favorite way to frolic, or is there another?
We have a couple different ways to frolic on stage, I guess.
Getting our head and genitals as close to each other's as possible. That seems to get good reactions from the other fence sitters and goats and fish.
Yeah, that's what we did on the Gong Show. At least we tried to make it look like our nuts and our face came together.
And butthole. Don't forget butthole.
And butthole. Yeah, it was very highbrow stuff.
Well, you all seem that you quite agree. What of Sean? Yes, is it high? Is it of the high brow, as these ones say?
I would say quite the opposite. We are of the low brow. Very lowbrow. I would not say cheap.
He has a problem detecting sarcasm.
It almost seems that now that this goat and this fish are now perhaps putting aside their verses to disagree with this fish that is called Sean, that is say it is of the lowest brow.
He's a lost fish.
He's not the brightest of the fish.
Oh, not the brightest of the fish.
I would not say I'm the brightest fish, but I'm brighter than that fish.
Prove it.
Yes,
Prove it.
yes.
Yes.
Can it be done? Can there be a versus? A versus between two fish?
Let's see it. How you
I
smarter
don't
than
know.
me?
Yes, Goat versus Fish has wondered that perhaps these ones have been versing one another for a very long time. Yes, perhaps when you were small ones. Yes, when you were small ones, you did versus one another. What are some of the ways?
Everything when we were growing up was always competing in, video games, sports, even just stupid games and grades in school.
Fighting in the hallways.
Literally anything we could compete against, we did.
Even now, a lot of the things we do is, even the tiniest things have to do with
Who's got the
competition.
hottest girlfriend, stuff like that. He's the only one with a girlfriend by now, so
Which
default.
one? Which one is the one with the girlfriend? Yes.
Sean Fish has a girlfriend.
The big fish right here. Big fish.
And is a girlfriend a goat or a fish? Is it a fellow fish that you do swim with, or is it a
Definitely.
goat that you are versus?
Definitely
Fellow
a goat.
fish.
She's a
Fellow
goat.
fish.
She's
This
such
one.
a goat.
The goat says that this one, Sean's a girlfriend,
I
as you
do.
call it.
I
You
know.
you know it is a goat. How would you know it is a goat?
I feel like she has a lot of goat tendency.
The
She
goat-
loves the land. She's just she likes to frolic. She definitely does.
Ah,
Just
it has been
because,
said, it has
just
been said.
because
Can
you
I-
live on land does not mean that you are a goat.
I'm just
It is
saying.
more likely that you are a goat.
It's more likely.
True, but many sailors and fishermen are fish.
what
but
makes
they
her
have
fish?
to live.
What makes her fish?
The smell.
A smell makes a fish. You are a fish.
That's true.
Do you smell
You
fish?
smell.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also a fish, so I smell.
I was going to say this word frolicking is thrown around a lot, but is there any better way to frolic than in no gravity under the sea?
It is said by the fish that it is a superior way to frolic, to swim as it were,
You are
yes.
not confined to the
But
gravity.
how often do you see fish in like a fish tank frolicking? They
We're not
never do
talking
it.
fish
But they
tank,
never
man.
do it. That's how fish.
Hell yeah.
We're talking
but
the
still-
ocean.
Fish
You're comparing
flip about. They flip
Fish flips.
about, yes, and they spin about,
Of
yes.
course they
and
do.
they go up towards the land and then away from the land. Yes.
Sometimes
Up
they jump
out of the
out of the
water.
water and into it.
Yes.
There's many ways.
I think goats frolic more often than fish.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
I don't.
Goats, I believe fish don't sleep. Correct me if I'm wrong. Fish don't
Some
sleep.
fish sleep. Some
Some
fish
fish
don't.
sleep.
You are a fish.
I am a fish.
Do you sleep?
I
He
sleep.
naps.
Then fish sleep. Then fish sleep. You have said that fish sleep.
I was gonna
All
say
right.
he naps about 3 times a day. So fish
That's not
definitely sleep.
Oh, it is a lazy fish.
He's a very lazy fish. This
Lazy
fish
It's
would
a
be
lazy fish.
he would be scooped up by a net and cooked on a grill.
You got to be
Very shortly.
you got to be a wise fish to survive in the deep ocean.
Ah, yes.
And I'm
it has
still
been
alive.
said. Yes.
You are a safe enclosed goat.
I'm not enclosed.
Never facing-
We made it very clear that
Never
I'm a
facing-
free range goat. We
He
made that very clear.
never facing any adversity, correct? This goat.
It seems that there is much versing within that is yet to happen before the Virzi Triplets choose. This is to all of these ones who are one. How do you move together to the next verses, even as you struggle within?
I think it's good that there's not. I think in some ways there's good that there's some fence sitting and there's not complete unity. That way we're always on each other's toes. Because that way, growth's got to happen if there's differences and if there's other stuff. So if someone's always kind of leaning one way or not with the group, then there's room to explore outside the boundaries, and therefore we can grow together as groups or as goat or fish.
I will say, though the goat is wrong most of the times, there are things to learn from the wrong goat.
Ah, there are things to learn from this goat.
Absolutely.
Not much.
Not really, but there are things. You can learn things.
At least from a
I
marketing
believe the
standpoint.
fish named
Marketing
Sean is
standpoint.
talking, right? The fish named Sean is talking. There are things to learn
Yeah,
from
it doesn't
seeing
matter.
how the goat has done things wrong, that the fish can learn from as a school and move forward
yes.
and
But-
stronger
But that's what I'm
together.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the goat is like an alpha male. He's taken the burden of making the mistakes. He's learned the lessons, and now the fish are coming in just to mooch off of that.
We were
You know what I
saying
mean?
This
But Goat versus Fish should say to this goat, yes, that you claim to be an alpha goat that is leading, but instead of stating in your own way how you think that you all shall move together as one, you instead defend yourself from the words of these fish. What do you have to say? What do you have to say about the Virzi Triplets and their fence-sitterly ways and how they do move to the next verses?
Well, I'm just saying, first of all, I feel like I have to defend myself because there's two fish in here. I feel like I'm on the outs.
It is so.
So
It
I
is
have
so.
to. I have
It
to at
is
least
so.
prove my case. Second part, if all of us had goat tendencies and were willing to make a bunch of mistakes and we could all learn together as a group, as opposed to mooching on like the fish have done in the past, we can move forward faster than we have, at least as a fence sitter / primarily fish group.
This goat sounds very insecure of what he's done and what
true.
we are doing. He seems
That's
very,
a
very.
very
I don't know what you're talking
He
about.
tries to inflate what he's done
The
to
goat.
make it seem like
I am the
he's-
most important goat that's ever lived.
The goat
I
sound-
don't
the
mean-
most important goat. Many goats have said they are the greatest of all time. It has been said, are you the greatest of all time?
I am
You
the
also claim
I am
it?
the goat of goats.
It
if
says
you
it is the
will,
goat
you
of
know.
goat.
in what aspect?
It just depends. Like, what is your barometer?
Well,
Goat
you said
of
of all
goats would not
time.
depend
this
on
one. This
something.
one has said it is a goat of goats. What does this one mean when it says it is the goat of goats? Why is it up to this fish to tell the goat how it is a goat? You are the goat.
'Cause
Goat versus Fish is wondering if these fish do not have something very strongly fish to say
Yeah.
of this goat.
Listen, I feel that confidently in my goatness that I feel like I exude so much.
Are you sure you are a goat?
Yes.
Are you sure you are a goat?
Yes.
You do not sit on the fence, not even a little?
No.
It sounds like it is confident that it is a goat, yes.
He
It
sits
sounds
on
like it
other
is
things,
confident.
though.
As long as it is not a fence. Now, goat versus fish, of course, it is very pitiable to see a fence sitter. Goat versus fish does not like to see a fence sitter, though they have heard the word of goat versus fish. However, goat versus fish has witnessed the verses within. Between a strong goat aspect, yes, and a strong fish aspects as well, yes. And Goat versus Fish is very pleased with this verses, and you have heard it, the ones who listen. You did hear Goat versus Fish. They were saying, oh, a goat is like this, and a fish is like this, and a fish is better than a goat, and a goat is better than a fish. What could be more Goat versus Fish? This is Goat versus Fish. Now, these ones, you have been through many verses together. Yes, you have been through many verses together.
Yep.
Are you going to tell Goat versus Fish that in spite of your fence-sitterly ways, that there is no love between these goat and fish? That there is no love between this goat and fish?
There is love.
There is something pitiable and admirable about the silly goat that you can just
But
see.
There is love amongst the fence sitting
there has to
group
be.
unity.
We're all goat and we're all fish, man. We gotta accept.
Nope,
each other.
nope. Your goat, we're fish.
Just
Yes,
be,
that one has said it. Yes, you are a goat, they are a fish, and together
But you're making me feel like
you sit on the fence.
I'm abnormal for being a goat, man. I'm just being myself.
see, there's that insecurity coming out again.
That's not a goat of goats. A goat of goats would not be insecure with this
No,
being a goat.
I'm very confident in my goatness. I'm just saying I don't want fish to put me on blast. You know
That's
what I
part
mean?
of being a goat. You
there's
have
that
to
fear.
deal
I know
with
my
it.
fear of being
goatness.
judged. There's the.
What do you feel?
You
How
are
do you
speaking
feel?
to Goat versus Fish?
Yes, I am.
Yes. A question for Goat versus Fish, yes.
What do you feel about the three of us? Like, I know we're fence sitters, but if you had to
Yes.
choose between fish or goat, how do we lean?
That is not.
That's not him to say.
That's 2 versus
See,
1.
there,
That's
there he
simple
goes
math.
again, looking
This-
for other people to give him
this
reassurance.
goat-
It is so.
This-
This one did ask Goat versus Fish, but it is a question. What does Goat versus Fish think? Yes, Goat versus Fish thinks it is very clear. Yes, normally it is hard for Goat versus Fish to say if one is leaning towards goat or leaning towards fish unless one says it itself. But the Virzi Triplets, 2 aspects have said fish, and 1 has said goat. So it seems that the Virzi Triplets is a fence sitter that does lean fish, but there is a part that is sincerely goat. It seems to be a part of the triplets, whether these fish like it or not, or think it is not confident, or think it is funny or not, or think it is dragged the fish along, or perhaps it is the other way. But it
Dragged them
seems that the
down.
goat is among the triplets, yes?
I think
Definitely.
that is a very good analogy, or I think it's very overarching of what we are, because we are a trio, we are a group together, but the goat has always wanted to gain independence and gain his own notoriety by himself.
Yes, it
but
has been said. It has been said.
he's failed to do so, so he has to remain in the confines of
I
the
will say
And-
that I am a young goat, so I do have time to also get that.
25 is not
But-
that young.
Here's my point. If you are such a great goat, why do you rely so much on the fish?
Listen, because a goat cares about the rest of his herd, and you guys are part of my herd. You're my brothers.
A goat that has the herd of fish.
See, that doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
What
I know.
What a verses. What a verses.
I know.
What a verses, yes.
But I don't want to just leave them behind because I know that they're not going to be
Where do you
successful
herd? Where do you
without
herd
me.
these fish?
Where do I hurt? I'm just saying, we're always together. So I have no choice but.
We're in the water.
I know, but I have no choice but to bring you along with me.
That's not true.
And make
That's
this
not
work.
true.
That's not
Because
true.
I want your best interest. I do.
We bring you with us.
No.
You
Why don't
are
you-
a water goat.
Do you pay?
I did this first, and you guys followed along.
So
Therefore,
are you going to provide for us? You should start paying my bills then.
I'm working on it.
That does sound like the ones you have said. If you are the strongest one, then it could provide for
We're
the fish.
gatherers
But
and you're a
again,
hunter.
Do these fish truly wish for a goat to be providing for the fish? The fish cannot
Oh,
swim on
no.
its own. It must have this goat to show it the way to be.
I think he's full of I think he's full of it. I think he likes to
Full of goat.
yes, full of a lot of goat droppings.
Yes, yes, yes.
I just think he likes to pretend to be more than that he is to give himself reassurance on his own. But as together as a unit, we're
you guys would be nothing
needs
without
us.
me.
Ah, well, you have heard it. You have heard it. Yes. Now, Goat versus Fish, before the celebration, does have one more question for this fish aspect that is called Alex, yes?
yes.
Goat versus Fish is looking at what is upon each of the ones, and there is something that is upon you. It does not seem to be a goat or a fish. What is that? What is that is upon you? What do you call it?
I got pelicans on my shirt, but if you look closely, there's a group of fish jumping out of the pelican's
there
mouth.
are fish. There
Yeah.
are fish. It is free. It is
And-
free from the pelican.
Yes, this pelican is the land carrier for us. So they can scoop the fish out of the water, but fly us over the land while they still got water in the mouth, so the fish are still
And
all
what
right.
is of the land?
The land where the goat is. We can overlook the goat.
A goat, and the goat, you say, does carry this fish, and then the fish can at some verses leap from this goat.
The
goat does not carry
pelican.
it.
The goat does not carry the fish.
It does. If you say that pelican, as you called it, is of the land, and then it is a goat.
It is of the air. It is not of the land or the water.
That sounds very fence-sitterly. That sounds so fence-sitterly. A pelican. Is it a
pelican
goat
is-
or a fish? Is a pelican a goat or a fish? Or is it a fence-sitter? Is it a fence-sitter?
Definitely a fence sitter.
Definitely.
It's a fencer.
Fence-sitters. Fence-sitters.
But I'm just saying, if
fence-sitters.
you look at that shirt, that's still that just sums it up perfectly. The pelican needs to do the work for the fish.
But the pelican is
fish-
a goat.
Is it? Because it's both. It's of the
No.
air and of the water.
The pelican's a fence sitter. It's not goat
It's a
or
fence
fish.
sitter, yes.
So
But
it's
what I'm
not a
saying-
goat.
What I'm saying is that the fish always need somebody else to help.
But the
them.
Virzi Triplets are a fence-sitter. Perhaps the pelican, as you call it, is the fence-sitterly Virzi Triplets that does carry all the goat and fish that are aspects of the
There's
Virzi
3
swarm.
fish in his mouth.
Perhaps we are a pelican. Maybe.
Well, a pelican is a
Is a
fence-sitter,
fence-sitter.
and a fence-sitter by any other name still sits on the fence. The Virzi Triplets, fence-sitters. Fence-sitters!
Yep.
But fence-sitters that do lean fish. Now, goat, fish, and fence-sitter alike. Now is for celebration. For celebration of goat versus fish. The ones can celebrate in any way that they wish, as long as they are celebrating goat versus fish. They could celebrate fish. They could celebrate goat. They could celebrate goat versus fish. They could even celebrate sitting on the fence if they wish. Goat versus fish wonders, these ones who do speak so much, yes? If you have a celebration, if you, the Virzi Triplets, have a celebration of goat versus fish that you wish to celebrate, yes? Is it so? Is it so?
Do we wish to celebrate our goat versus fishness?
Yes, to celebrate goat versus fish. Yes, we are goat versus fish. Yes, goat versus fish is enjoying speaking to these fence-sitterly ones, even though they are
I believe
fence-sitters.
it's only natural to celebrate after such a long battle of verses.
Yes, it is the verses for a celebration. Yes, perhaps this fish aspect, Sean, should lead in the celebration, and if the other ones wish to join in the celebration, yes, then we shall all join in the celebration. Please, Sean of the Virzi Triplets of the fish. That is a fish. That is part of the fish part of the fish part that is the
Lead us.
Goat versus fish has never spoken to one such as these before. Yes, but lead us in celebration of goat versus fish.
Sean Virzi of the Virzi Triplets is a fish, but there is just thing he wish. We all agree that we are fish and put away the little bish.
Fish.
That was a celebration. Goat versus fish is pleased with this celebration. Yes, the others did not join, but it was a celebration that did come strongly from this aspect.
I didn't
Now-
know where it was going.
Now that is you have heard it from the goat aspect. Now, goat, Do you wish to follow this fish to be between the two fish, your celebration, or do you wish to hear from the celebration of both of the fish aspects and then finally the goat?
I want to hear from both the fish first.
Ah, then it shall be. Then it shall be. Yes.
Such a non-leader goat.
Seriously.
Such a follower goat.
Let us hear from the fish aspect that is called Alex. Yes, let us hear the celebration of goat versus fish.
Oh, I wish I was a fish. I wish I was a fish. I'm a fish. Wish I was a fish.
I'm a fish. The one thing that I do wish is that I don't end up on a dish.
They are a fish, 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 they are a fish. There are two that say they are a fish. They are part of one that is a fence sitter. It is time for the goat. It is time for the goat. Now, goat, you have said you are a confident goat. You have said that you are a leader of goat and fish. You have said that you carry these fish. You have said that these fish are not much without you. And now it is time, goat. You have heard the celebrations, and it is all celebration. It is all celebration. But now it is time. It is time to show the ones who listen.
Yeah.
To show the fish who do hear you, and to show the goat within you.
Yeah.
The celebration of goat versus fish. Let us hear it from this goat.
All right. Let's see. I'm a goat. I keep the Virzi Triplets afloat. We dominate the land, but we taking a
Improv class, maybe?
Now, goat versus fish has heard many celebrations. Heard many celebrations.
I had a cough. I'm sick.
You know what floats though? Fish. Fish always
do.
float.
They
If you
do,
said
yeah.
afloat.
I do. I kept them afloat.
No. You don't
Yeah.
keep us afloat.
Keep them
Now, the
afloat.
celebration of these fish aspects, it was not the most sophisticated celebration that goat versus fish has ever heard, but it was a celebration.
Yes.
It was a fun celebration. But this goat,
Sorry.
this goat celebration, it. Now, there are some who do not even attempt to celebrate, and these ones, goat versus fish, does not even wish to ponder these ones. You did celebrate. And goat versus fish is pleased that you did celebrate, but goat versus fish did not think it was quite as celebratory as the celebrations of either of these fish. What do you say? What do you say to goat versus
It wasn't my
fish?
best effort. I'll be honest. I can't. I can't. Be proud of that. I tried, but it obviously could have been better.
Maybe give it another try.
You should give it another try.
Yes, the fish encourage this one. Yes, let us hear it once more. Let us hear the celebration from this goat. Let us hear the celebration from this goat. You see, they want this goat to be stronger. They want it to be stronger. They want it to have a celebration.
The fish try and help the goat.
Then if you wish to try to help the goat, then why don't you begin the foundationalness of this celebration, and then this goat can leap up on it.
I'll help you
Yes.
out, goat. Ready?
We'll give you one line each, and then you can go ahead and take
I'm
it.
going to give you like the undertone, okay? Ba 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 ba.
The one named Mitchell, he tends to be a goat. All he thinks to do is gloat. We are the fish and we're off the boat. We laugh at you while we sit and float.
Goat versus fish would like to hear from this goat. Does it even have a song or a note?
It sounds like this goat is surrounded by a moat.
And a moat sounds like a fence. Thank you for joining Goat versus Fish. Thank you for joining Goat versus Fish, yes?
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for having
us.
us. Goat
And if
versus
any
fish.
wish, thank you, yes, always thank Goat versus Fish. And if any wish to speak to these goat and fish, to this fence sitter, if anyone wishes to speak either to the aspects or to the one that is the Virzi Triplets, how do these ones speak to these goat and fish aspects?
You can reach out to us on any social media platform at Virzi Triplets. V as in Victor, IRZI Triplets. On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that. And then check out our website, VirziTriplets.com.
Individually, this fish is at Sean Virzi, SEAN.
The other fish is at Alex Virzi, ALEX.
And this goat is at Mitchell Virzi.
You have heard it. You have heard it from the fence sitter, from the fence sitter that is the Virzi Triplets. Thank you for joining Goat vs. Fish.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you. And you who listen, you are a part of Goat vs. Fish. And if you wish to follow Goat vs. Fish, or send a message to Goat vs. Fish, on the social media, on the Book of Faces, on the Twitter, on the Instagram, all at Goat vs. Fish, all at GoatVsFish. Join the Goat vs. Fish discussion group on the Book of Faces to discuss Goat vs. Fish with other goat and fish. If you have a celebration like these ones, do send it to Goat vs. Fish, GoatVsFish at gmail.com. Yes, or any other way you can send it to Goat vs. Fish, and Goat vs. Fish may share it with the ones on the Goat vs. Fish podcast. Be sure to say if you are a goat or a fish. And when you are out in the land and the sea, look about you. Look about you. Find one who is lost. Find one who is 3, who is lost, who does not know the way. Find one who struggles with the verses within, or who, worse yet, does not even know of the verses within, for they have not been asked. Are you goat, or are you fish? Are you goat or fish? Are you goat or fish? This has been Goat vs. Fish. I am Goat vs. Fish, the goat fish. Now, can we say it as one? Can we say it as one? And it was written, and it was written. Can it even be said by all the ones and Goat vs. Fish as one?
Yeah.
And it was written, and it was written.